What is going on, everybody? We're finally here and we're live again. Welcome. Here I am once again for the second day. Last night, I could have time to do one on the stream. I wanted to do some because thanks to the World Baseball Classic last night of USA barely hang on last night of a survive scare win against Dominican Republic. One of the best MLB stars ever since 2006 when they all started the inaugurational of the WBC when they have all MLB stars, superstars like Japan, Venezuela, Cuba, Mexico, United States. The list could go on Puerto Rico. The list can go on and on and on on the field. So here I am, guys. We're finally here. Make sure you guys like this video before it comes out. Subscribe to this channel to ring that notifications on. Yeah. So here we are, the NCAA 2026 NCAA Division I men's and women's basketball championship tournament bracket predictions and picks. We're going to have our picks coming up as soon as we can. So go ahead, as we're here and ready to go. So make sure you guys follow me on Blue Sky as soon as I can, because we're always on Blue Sky when it comes to. I will show it to you guys because we've been talking about this every single time when it comes to Toonami on demand. We just did earlier today. It was Blue Lock followed by Rooster Fire and the premiere Tokyo Revengers and the Wooey Flow that we just caught earlier today. So there's that. Make sure you guys follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram. Right there, as long as you can show it to me there. So yeah, go follow me on Blue Sky at Alagamino 1997. Blue Sky Social is there. Make sure you guys, as always, go check me out. And because we've always been on the internet, on and off when it comes to anime and sports, all that, we have some fun. So tomorrow we're going to be back at noon or 1 p.m. my time. And for those of you on the West Coast, you're going to have to wait also at like around 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. Pacific time. So sorry. I don't know what's going on with my throat, but it is what it is. Therefore, so that is tomorrow on right there. So tomorrow we're going to be back for that because is Naruto, and tomorrow's the 29th anniversary of Toonami. Because we're celebrating because what are you doing tomorrow? We got Naruto, Sailor Moon, Samurai Jack. So therefore, the 2026 NCAA Division I men's and women's basketball championship tournament, that's going to come down to is, man, we told you yesterday, well, you saw my reaction is, how did Miami, Ohio, well, because of the one loss. And we're going to get to the Miami, Ohio schedule right now over on Wikipedia. Therefore, because I gotta get ready for this one so I can show it to you guys and talked about this on their resume, and it looks to me as 2025, 26. So I can pull up the screen right there so I can share that screen to you guys. Right there. Oops, wrong button. Share screen. Miami, Ohio. There we go. Now, this season, this has got to be their best year, but it's not what has got to be the best because they're playing against nobody. How in the hell did that happen? This kind of reminds me of watching Coach Carter movie. I've been watching Samuel L. Jackson, Richmond Oilers under basketball. They were 16-0 undefeated and then 17-0 because some of the games got canceled. And one of the toppest games of the year got canceled because of the grades had been failing. All that. Yeah. And then they had to face St. Francis at the end of the last final battle, and that means that was only the beginning of the movie as well. So Miami, Ohio, right there, as you can see. And let's start with this. The 2025-26 Miami Redhawks men's basketball team represents Miami University during the 2025-26 NCAA Division I men's basketball season. The Redhawks, led by fourth-year head coach Travis Steele, played their home games at Millett Hall in Oxford, Ohio, as members of a Mid-American Conference, MAC. MAC has been the part of it since football every single Tuesdays, by the way. I used to watch MAC. Okay, I don't usually watch it all the time because it will be postseason in October, and especially baseball coming your way. But yeah, Miami won every game in the regular season to become the first MAC team to win it all of its conference games in the regular season, until the team concluded the regular season with a following active record streak: school records for consecutive home wins 31, MAC record for consecutive MAC for consecutive MAC game wins 18 going to the tournament, consecutive weeks ranked 7, and school record for consecutive road games wins 15. So they won 15 because that's the schedule. I'm going to get to that. Let me start off on the road. I'm going to get to that first one. That's the first against Air Force. The second game against North Carolina Asheville. The third game Eastern Kentucky. The fourth game, Rice State. Fifth game, Ball State. Sixth game, Bowling Green. Seventh game, Toledo. Eighth game, Kent State. 9, Buffalo. 10, Marshall. 11, UMass. 12, Eastern Michigan. 13, Western Michigan. 14, Ohio. And I forgot who was the 15. Because I can't even sure what to describe, because they've won. I think it's Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo. I mean, they've won a lot of games, 15 consecutive road games in college basketball, and that goes on. The Redhawks were they were out of the quarterfinals, lost to on the MAC tournament against UMass, marking their first loss of the season. Despite that, they earned a large bid to the NCAA tournament, and they're going to go up against SMU Mustangs, the Pony Express, a.k.a. the Pony X's. And last season, they finished 23-8. They were in second. They finished 14-4. And that's not their best year. All right? This is not their best college basketball year I've seen, because they have not been to the tournament since 2007 until it happened. It happened. And this team is so bleeping good. Their head coach was Charlie Coles. And back they were good. Of the old days of the MAC. Not anymore. They got rid of that. Now we're in the NIL era. And they only lost to Oregon by 2. Hitman Reinhardt. And guys, when I go on Facebook or social media, something like that, yeah, he's not going to be making videos anymore on his YouTube channel. It's time for him to stop because of what's going on, the AI bots, people are still unsubscribed to their YouTube channels, all that. And Rhodes talked about this on Black and White Sports too, and football. So his Ducks lost by 2 in the first round in Spokane, Washington. Yeah, that was in the Midwest Regional. They were the 14th seed, and the Ducks were the 3 seed of the 2007 NCAA tournament. That's the terrible record. They finished 18-15, some shit like that. But that's what it all means by that. But this is their best year. Miami, Ohio, I'm not saying they're going all the way. What I'm saying is they might win one NCAA tournament game and lose the next game in the first round, because despite how much they're going to enter that, they're not going to make it a second round. All right? Look at the record. 18-0 in the conference. Akron finished 17-1. They finished 29-5 this regular season and head into the NCAA tournament. Can you imagine going 35-5? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Man, one of their stars were good because they lost their players. Dan Lewis graduated assistant at Miami. Cam Kraft transferred to Georgia Tech, and then Kai Cooper transferred to Lintonwood, and then Reese Potter, who's now in the NCAA tournament, got transferred to Kentucky. He's already his hometown, back home, and they're going to play against Santa Clara this week. And don't sleep on Santa Clara. And this is going to be very, very hard because they're going to face the winner of Iowa State and Tennessee State game. That's going to be – we'll look at the brackets later before we get to the players we got on the senior roster. You got Peter Sutter, and previous school Bellarmine, and he's from Carmel, Indiana. He's only a senior. Eli Yofin, he's also a senior from Fox Chapel Area High School. He's already in. By the way, you got another one from Rutgers, Antoine Woodfolk from Cleveland. He's also a senior. So we got 3 seniors in one program in the squad. Let me count with juniors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 juniors. We only got 6 juniors. And they're I guess you could say they're redshirt. No, injured. Yeah, they're injured. Evan Esparro hasn't been played. He's still hurt. Hopefully, they'll try to let him play when it comes to the tournament. But the ones that have won too much of the games that's so close, and that is in overtime against North Carolina, Asheville. Yeah, North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. Buffalo game home. They won by 3 in overtime. They won by 6 at Kansas State game. And then they won at Ohio by 2. The game almost gave them their first loss of the season. So we have 4 overtimes this season for Miami, Ohio Redhawks. And that's the only loss to UMass. And now they're going to face SMU this week. This Wednesday night at 8:15, and that game is on True TV. So there's the big reason that why and this team is so damn good. That kind of reminds me of watching Coach Carter movie. When I tell you that right now, that movie is so great. And yes, I did watch that movie like a bunch of times since elementary days. And this is the Richmond High School basketball. All right. It says it is based on a true story of Richmond High School basketball coach Ken Carter, who made the headlines in 1999 for suspending his undefeated high school basketball team due to poor academic results. Yeah, because their grades weren't that good. They weren't that good. And this one is Carter's on gym lockdown draws media attention and community outrage. Yeah, that few games got canceled until the return. Until the return. I did see that movie like plenty of times. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, you got Channing Tatum, Ashanti, all of that, and lots of great acting actors and actresses, and that movie's really good. So, I mean, I watched that movie like a bunch of times. So, yeah. So there's that, and I don't know how many times I have to watch it, but that's what it all means. I'm just a basketball guy that falls in love with. I mean, that's my eyes on when it comes to college basketball. Yeah. So there's that. So, break it all down. We're about to get ready to reveal the brackets, and we'll look at the brackets again from that one because I want to get started with CBS Sports as usual. First up, the men's bracket. And I'm going to go with the Supreme Bubble Thunder Spray. That's the Sailor Moon of Sailor Jupiter and Sailor Mercury. So here we go. And I'm going to have to share a screen right now again. So I want to bring that attention. So I'll be all right. I'll be okay. So here we go. Now, I already filled out my brackets. Last night, I filled it out while I was watching World Baseball Classic. This is a great game. This is a fun game to watch. If you have not pay much attention when it comes to experts and analysts on bracketology breakdowns, bracket experts like everybody else and myself. I remember used to become a bracket expert when it comes to high school back in my days. High school, back in my first year of high school in 2011-12, in 2012, that was our first when I came to school, and this was the NCAA tournament bracket game for the men's. And people are trying to fill out their brackets, and they the ones they win it, their teams to win it all, especially no one has ever gone perfection. We'll get to that in just a moment. The perfect, you'll win some extra grand prize winners, and that principle in my high school was Rudy Bowles. Rest in peace to Rudy Bowles. God bless him, by the way. And then, yeah, that was the first 2 years before Rudy Bowles retires, and that's my first 2 years when I came into school. The tournament goes on, so I respect that. So now, Duke and Siena game. Don't sleep on Siena. This is the game that you're going to be expecting that because Duke won the ACC against Virginia. Everybody is 99% users, and you look at the net rank. They're in first. Siena don't have a chance. And their record against top 25, they only lost 2 this season. And their strength of schedule, they are in 4th. And they have more points per game. And then opponents opposite points per game. And Duke has been undefeated for the last 10 games on that one. And look at the last 10 games. They beat Clemson. They beat Syracuse. They beat Michigan. And that was the game of the week. And that is the national championship preview. Can you imagine it? But if they make it go all the way, but I highly doubt they won't be. We'll get to that just a moment. As you're seeing, the brackets already filled out. They won by 5. That was the Winter Olympics about to be concluded, and they won against Notre Dame easily by Notre Dame, 156. Sorry, Steel Jacket. 7-9. They beat Virginia. They beat NC State easily, and then they beat North Carolina by 15 points on my 29th birthday, and then they had to go all the way to the ACC tournament to beat Florida State in the quarterfinals, and then they beat Clemson by 12 in the semifinals since they beat them 67-54, and they beat Virginia by 4 after that blowout into a close game. And now Siena games, they only lost by 4 games. They have lost by 5 is St. Peter's, the Peacocks. Quinnipiac, they lost by 12. And then they lost to Merrimack by 7 in overtime. And at Fairfield, they only lost by 14 points. But the other games they did was against Marist, St. Peter's, Riders, Mount St. Mary's, Fairfield, Merrimack, 1. And then the whole tournament. But their stats are looking good. They have more numbers than Siena for Duke. But their free throws, look at the free throws. Siena's got to look at the numbers. They have a better free throws than the other side of Duke. Because Carlo Boozer this season, his numbers were looking great. Solid this season. Then Gavin Doughty. Carlos Boozer's son, Cameron Boozer. Because I know Carlos Boozer in my timeline when he played the NBA, Chicago Bulls, Utah Jazz, he was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. Now, Caleb Foster is out for hopefully the next game, but I expect that, but he's out for the rest on hopefully the next few games if they make it all the way through it. You got Sebastian Wilkins, he's out for the rest of the season. IU out for the rest of the season, and Patrick Ngomba out until maybe when this week comes out because he might have a chance to play. Because their rosters you look at right now is Ty J. Jones. He's out for the rest of the season. Goodrick out for the season. Doug Harb out for the season. Shulger out for the season. And Antonio Chandler out until, game time decision when it comes to that. So I have Duke beating Siena by a blowout, and it ain't going to be easy. But Ohio State TCU game, my God. I expect this, but this is like a college football matchup. You have a college football matchup that is going to be very good, and people are going to be tuning in for that. So I'm expecting whoever wins that game between Big Ten and Big 12. This is more like a college football playoff that should have been in 2022 when, here's my thing. TCU beat Michigan and Georgia beat Ohio State. Yeah, can you imagine these two face each other in the national championship game? That's going to happen. Now, I got Ohio State because as a Longhorns fan, screw TCU. How much I hate these sons of bitch ass. I hate them. And I don't care they're from Fort Worth, Texas, but I'm sorry. I'm from this area in my hometown, Eagle Pass, Texas. We go to Austin for 4 hours from here to there. After San Antonio, that's 3 hours. We go from there. I don't go to Waco, all right? I don't give a shit if I go to Waco because how much I hate that city, I'm never going to go there. Because I'm part of this. Because as a Longhorn fan, I'm not going there. And it makes me feel like I'm going to be disgusted with this crap. But let me see. All right, there we go. I thought I lost my connection, but okay. Well, they all pick Ohio State over TCU, so that could be interesting. So, all right, there's that. But I'm not going to have time to look at the last 10 games, but I got Ohio State. But St. John's and North Iowa game, this is going to be good. They're all picking St. John's over North Iowa, but look at their net rank, 16 over 72nd. And their schedule on 2 and 4. And North Iowa hasn't played nobody against the top 25 teams. Nobody. They play against no one. And that loss was against the Hal Murray. That's the Hal Murray right now. I want to let zoom in right there. And I'm sorry. And we took them out easily, 72-40. And they blew us out the return of favor. All right. But North Iowa's schedule, they went all the way through the tournament and beat Illinois Chicago. Illinois Chicago has not been to the dance since 1998. What else can you say that? But their season was really good, but Rick Pitino's been very, very vocal on that team, on that program, and this is starting to look very good when it comes to basketball. So I got St. John's beating or Iowa, but the game I'm gonna expect to look forward to that Cal Baptist against Kansas. Upset because F Kansas Jayhawks, F Bill cheating ass Adidas scandal, Adidas cheating ass scandal. I'm going Cal Baptist. I don't give a shit. I'm going to Cal Baptist. Kansas can kiss my ass. Because here's the thing. They lost to the top 25 team, and that's Cal Baptist only lost to top 25 teams. And Kansas's numbers are 6-6. I'm sorry. They're going to get demolished when it comes to that because their schedule of Kansas sucks. Iowa State, Cincinnati, Arizona, Arizona State, and Houston. Those are the 5 losses. But only 2 losses for Cal Baptist was Utah Tech and Valley. Hey, Cal Baptist could win that schedule. They have a better schedule than Kansas. I'm sorry. Cal Baptist is going to destroy them. Maybe by a close game, but maybe a 15, 20-point blowout, that could happen. Because that could happen very sooner. And then you got Louisville, South Florida game. This is the Big East Conference USA reunion. And this is going to be a great reunion. Because South Florida finished 10-0, and then Louisville 6-4. They only lost to SMU, North Carolina by 3, Clemson by 5. Yeah, SMU by 10, and then they lost by 5 to Miami, Ohio. Oh my God, Miami, Florida Hurricanes. But look at the numbers. South Florida just, good God. Louisville's going to beat them. And then Michigan against North Dakota State. The Bisons are back for the first time more than a year since like in the late 2010s. I mean, Michigan State's going to pound them because North Dakota State only lost 2 games to Denver by 7 and St. Thomas, Minnesota by 22. Because the 4 losses, they lost to Minnesota by 3, Wisconsin, Michigan by double digits, and then they lost to in the last game of the season, they lost to UCLA by 4. The game I just tuned in for that in the Big Ten tournament. Yeah, because UCLA just found their way to stop Michigan State, and this is kind of like their kryptonite. And speaking of UCLA, but I got Michigan State beating them, North Dakota State, UCLA and UCF, which is Central Florida. UCLA is gonna run all over them. I mean, depends. Look at their numbers, and then only 11 losses behind 2 wins coming their way. Their net schedule looks like really good. Unchartable. UCLA's got more than 10 wins over the UCF. Oklahoma State at overtime by UCF by 7, and you got the closest win by 4, by a point was against Illinois for the Bruins. So they're going to bounce back after that Purdue loss. Well, it just kind of like depends, and this is going to come to the selection committee when the tournament goes on and off the court. So UCLA is going to be UCF. So I got to take UCLA. And now, guys, you want me to get to that UConn game? I'm not even looking forward to this. I'm not even looking forward to that game. This is the dangerous game that I'm expecting. This is going to come to the tournament time, and that is the Connecticut Huskies and Furman. I'm going to get to ESPN right now. Right there, and I'm going to put this on the next one before I switch it there. right here, and let me fold this one out of the way. I apologize for that because it's the internet. It's the internet. It's kind of remind me. You're looking at let's sit out again. Hold on, guys. Right there. Testy, testy. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We're kind of like looking at how the schedule of their games are, but something tells me that if UConn doesn't handle this on these next couple of games, because they won 18 games except lost to St. John's. I mean, after loss to Marquette does hurt on the final game, gets a technical foul ejection, and then they bounce back to quarters and the semis, except for Georgetown, and lose to St. John's in the title game. I don't know what else to expect that, because this is going to try to get this one, because we're looking at injury players like Jalen Stewart. He's out until hopefully game time decision, and same with Silas DeMary Jr. after the Big East tournament. It's just pretty much stinks, but we'll have to see, because we got to take care of Furman first. But we'll have to wait and see. But we'll expect that win. Florida and the winner of that game, Prairie View A&M and Lehigh in the first four for this week. And it's not a play game. It's a first four game. I'm still calling it first four, but Florida's going to destroy them because their net rank are way better. Florida's schedule are way better. I mean, they got more field goals. They got more three-point shot. Well, the three-point shots kind of shoot cold, except Prairie View A&M's got more of that. But free throws got more of it. So, yeah. Okay. So, this game is not going to scare me. It's Iowa and Clemson. Iowa's going to beat them. No doubt about it. McNeese State and Vanderbilt game. John Matrix from Black and White Sports. I mean, this is the basketball game, and I'll be telling you this. McNeese State and Vanderbilt, don't sleep on McNeese State, because last year they pulled off the toughest upset in the NCAA tournament in history. Yep. Last year was their shock of the upset, and they made history. And I'm gonna look at their users. Yeah, they're all picking Vanderbilt, but I'm sorry, I gotta go with McNeese State. Cowboys are trying to get this one back in the front, but their net ranks, they're gonna have to get better to catch McNeese State, because McNeese State have won 10 games, because Vanderbilt lost 6 out of 10 of their last schedule, because they beat anybody like Incarnate Word, Houston Christian, East Texas A&M, Northwestern State, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. My sister Caitlin's over there, by the way. And you got Texas Rio Grande Valley, New Orleans, Nicholls State. Texas Rio Grande, same team in triple overtime, and then Stephen F. Austin. And their stats are going to be very, very unique. I mean, Vanderbilt's got more free throws right now in the top 5, because Larry Johnson's going to have to catch Tyler Tanner. And then at Nebraska, they're facing Troy. Nebraska could beat Troy. After a little early start of undefeated, and then it started fell apart. The next game after one, and then the 2, you got nowhere near to be found. So Nebraska's got to get some wins and some help, because I've been watching their teams all season long, except the Winter Olympics been covering it. So here's that. And then the game that everybody's going to look forward to, that North Carolina and Virginia Commonwealth, VCU. Yes, VCU won the Atlantic 10 University. Well, University, Atlantic 10 in the tournament, going against Dayton University, Dayton, Ohio, being St. Louis. North Carolina might bounce it back because the loss to Clemson doesn't bother them. After that Duke loss, yeah, they lost another game. They're on a 2-game losing streak. And at VCU, they pretty much shaking their heads to wake up because they only lost to St. Louis. And that VCU team is going to be very good. And I'm going to go with North Carolina winning that game. Illinois, Penn. And Illinois is going to beat Penn. Don't sleep on the Penn Quakers. It might pull off the biggest upset in college basketball. As of right now. And then right there, you have St. Louis and Texas. No, St. Mary's, California, the West Coast Conference teams. And right now for next season, will take over to face on the SEC team, Texas A&M. Coming from this team, I got St. Mary's to kick the can shit out of Texas A&M because they lost to Santa Clara in the semifinal. I mean, no punishment has ever come to them. I'm glad they would have been left out of the NCAA tournament because if it does, then there's going to be a massive problem and a huge black eye for the NCAA. After that, Gonzaga win the final game. And then Houston and Idaho. For the first time since 1990, it's been 36 years. Yes, since the Hank Gatter's death in 1990, the passing of Hank Gatter's, other stuff now I'm going to talk about college basketball because I already know this. Hank Gatter's passed away on March 4th. That was Lauren Marymount's tournament chances against Portland Pilots, but that tournament was canceled until the NCAA tournament. Automatic bid. Shoot, I think I know something like that. Yeah, that was Lauren Marymount's NCAA tournament run all the way through Elite 8. What else? Yeah, upsets. Yeah, that was North Iowa beating Missouri. Yep, the 14th seed beat the 3 seed. Ball State beat Oregon State. Louisville lost to Idaho. Then Ball State beat Louisville in Salt Lake City. Makes sense when it comes to 1990 tournament time, and then UNLV won the whole thing until the NCAA investigation began, but it's not until after 1990-91 season it's been concluded for that. But don't sleep on the Houston Cougars. They're trying to get back in the Final Four again, but they're going to have to pass it through when it comes to the Florida Gators in the Elite 8. Houston's going to win that one. And we got a bunch of time left before I don't want to waste too much time. So we got a lot of time left until all the way through the end of that. So before we get to the women's tournament. Arizona, Long Island. Don't sleep on Long Island. The 16th seed could beat the 1 seed, but I don't think it's going to happen. Arizona's got a better net rank, and they have won 12 out of 14 top 25 games this season, and then they've lost 2 top 25s for Long Island. It's really hard to tell, but 9-1 Arizona. They only lost to Texas Tech by 3 in overtime, and then Long Island only lost 2 to Mercyhurst after New Haven by closely in this college basketball season. But Arizona's going to run all over them when it comes to Long Island. But Villanova and Utah State game. Utah State won the Mountain West, right? They won the Mountain West tournament for good. For the final time, because they're going to the Pac-12 next season, and this is going to be the brand new era for the Pac-12 for now. I mean, it's a brand new chapter of the return of Pac-12 because the original Pac-12 is no longer. You got facing Villanova team. I mean, they have Utah State's got a better net rank than Utah Villanova right now. I mean, coming from the Big East fan, Nova has lost 5 top 25 teams, and Utah State hasn't played nobody in the top 25. And both of them are 7-3 in these last 10 games. Yeah. And Nova only lost to us, so that's UConn. They lost by 10. Remember, they lost to Georgetown in the quarterfinals. They got demolished by 14 points. Man. And then you got Utah State beating Boise State. They dominate my Boise State also. Man. My goodness. So Nova's going to win that. And then you got Wisconsin, High Point game. Wisconsin's going to beat High Point. So hopefully they'll pull off the upset. Because High Point's back for the second year in a row in the NCAA tournament after winning the Big South. This might be their time to race the High Point Mountains enough when it comes to Marvin Gaye music. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. So, and that's what comes to that. It comes to mind when it comes to tournament time. Because I've been printing out those brackets yesterday. I had to do something I got to do. But hey, hold on a second. Let me get another water bottle. Oops. My bad. All right, here we go. So, the game Arkansas and Hawaii. This is a great game. This is a great NCAA tournament game for the Big West. But Mountain West for Hawaii is still there. The Big West, Hawaii, is just a team. They won the Big West title. They're back in the tournament for the first time since 2018. And they're going to go against an SEC champion for now, Arkansas, in the tournament. John Calipari, he's running back again and try to get a second national championship since on 2012, that Kentucky season. And you know who was part of the team in Kentucky? You guessed it. Anthony Davis, who's now with the Dallas Mavericks still, and I think he went to another team. Anthony Davis was part of Kentucky. The one and done crap going on. Yeah. Look, we're in the NIL era. I mean, here's my thing. I'm not going to say any bad about it, okay? Negativity about of this United States of America. President Donald John Trump, he is going to announce to sign the executive order to ban ban the NIL from the NCAA all college sports. That includes both men's and women's, maybe football, and possibly basketball, baseball, softball, women's volleyball, soccer, both men's and women's, especially the cross men's and women's, because of going to transfer portals, money, the NIL money crap, all of that. Look, what President Trump wants to sign, I'm fine with that. I mean, look, I'm a college sports fan for all my life. I've been watching college sports for 21 years, since 2005-06. And that's my point is, can this happen when the time – look, it's going to take some time. It's going to take a long while for that, because I want this to happen as a college sports fan. I mean, this NIL thing has been killing one of my favorite college teams, Texas Longhorns, UConn Huskies for men's and women's basketball, Boise State when it comes to football, men's and women's basketball. And you got Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana Hoosiers are a good program too, but Vanilla Mendoza is the one that tried to save his program turnaround with Kirk Cinetti. You got Arch Manning in Texas. He's not going anywhere. All right. He's not the next Colt McCoy. He's not the next Vince Young. He's not maybe Quentin Ewers, but he's just Arch Manning himself. Look, what President Trump wants to sign is, I'm fine with signing the executive order to ban NIL from the NCAA. It needs to happen. This madness crap needs to end. But I'm sorry for the political talk, but it's true. You can't change your mind when it comes to NIL thing. It is killing our college sports. And the transfer portals, you cannot make this up. Look, this NIL needs to stop and ends for that. It needs to end. It is hurting our game. It is hurting our sports because of the what I'm hearing the rumor is the NCAA tournament after this tournament season coming up for this year, the next year you're going to have this upcoming offseason, the next offseason, this upcoming offseason, the next, they're going to expand 72, 76 teams, and this is going to hit the massive black eye by the NCAA. And this is going to hurt the fans. Go back to the way it was. Leave it at 68 alone, or go back to the 64 teams. 64 teams is what matters. All right? People are trying to get in. Because I remember expanding 65 teams. That is the opening round game. And that was pretty good, right? Way back, but not anymore. You have the first four. But it's going to take a lot of days to get this one done. Like 72, 76 teams, like 75 games is going to hurt NCAA. But college football playoff, they still got one more season with 12 teams, and Notre Dame may finish in the top 12 to order to get in the CFP, no matter what happens. Because you're going to expand next season with 14 or 16 teams. Well, 16 or 24 teams. Oh, my God. Don't even think about it. 60 teams is fine, but 24, no. But back to this game, and my point, Arkansas is going to run over Hawaii by closely, and this is not going to be easy for them. So there's that. And BYU game, basing the game you want me to talk about this, another one, another first four game. Texas Longhorns and North Carolina State, the NC State game. All right. I'm kind of scared for I'm really scared for this game, and this is what scares me. But a little bit is Texas finally try to get inside of it, because right now Sean Miller is a better coach this season and lost to Ole Miss. I'm perfectly okay with that loss. I'm perfectly all right with this loss when it comes to tournament time. And I can't describe to imagine is you got a better team that this is going to be. I'm going to put this right there. There we go. And this is going to make me feel a little nervous, but against look at this. They're 15-2 according to ESPN Analytics. We might have a chance to opportunity, and we got to take the over. Because we have to do something and stop North Carolina State Wolfpack. I think we have a rematch this past season, because last season we beat North Carolina State at the ACC. Yeah, it was the ACC SEC Challenge. Yep, and the first year Texas beat NC State in the first year last season. So. But this season, Swain's got better numbers than McNeil. But we got more rebounds than Lubin, and then we got Swain trying to assist to catch Copeland. And their numbers look really good. NC State's a good program. Ever since Jim Valvano, the late, great Jimmy Valvano, 1982-83 season, RIP to him and Lorenzo Charles, the game-winning dunk, slam down the game-winning dunk. From Derek Whitberg's shooting catch to Lorenzo Charles, because Hakeem Olajuwon wasn't going to catch it. Okay, he didn't want to get a technical foul. So we got more field goal percentage. We have a better rebounds. They have more assists to us and blocks and steals. So we're going to have to come out of the trap, because we lost 4 out of 5 games, especially only one against Texas A&M was on the last day of February. NC State only won against Pitt in the ACC tournament. They lost 4 out of 5. Terrible. Except that Virginia lost. Don't even ask about that. So, and our schedule right now, and tomorrow's on True TV, and guess who you're who's calling the game tomorrow? It is going to be Brian Anderson, and ones that's already on ESPN Warner Bros. Discovery contract because of Inside the NBA's trade-off, and that is Dick Vitale, Dickie V, Coach V, and Sir Chuckster Charles Barkley of Auburn. That should be great. Yeah, they did play this past season, and they won by 5. It was in the Maui Invitational Tournament, and they finished third place, something like that. Yeah, they lost to Arizona State. They won against Chaminade, and then they beat NC State, and then they had to go against Virginia in the ACC SEC Challenge, and they lost badly until the next following game. UConn lost badly. And don't get me wrong, they're both my teams. All right, they're both my teams. Wherever face each other, when it comes to that, may the best team win. And look at their schedules. I mean, it started at winning streak: Oklahoma, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU. They won 5 games, except that losing streak. We're now on a 3-game losing streak. Right there. Okay. There we go. Yeah, guys. I mean, it's kind of weird, but it's giving me a. Yeah, again, Texas won 5 in a row. Oklahoma, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, and then they lost 3 to Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss. And we're not about to go to 4 because if it does, something's wrong with the program. Something's wrong with the program, guys. So there you have it, guys, and that's your preview for tomorrow's game. Because I'm kind of worried if Texas doesn't make no shitty ass competitions. They lost 5 out of 5 of these last 10 games. 5 out of 10 games. I mean, this has gone wrong. I mean, it's Lasinia Trevori is going to play because he's got game time decision. He's got practice today before tomorrow. They're going to have a chance because Xavier Stanton's going to have a game time decision because he might not play till whenever they advanced it. So we got a chance to survive in advance, and hopefully we move on to that. So we'll see. We could take care of that. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. Yeah, this game is going to be, I guess you could say, a cakewalk, but don't sleep on Kennesaw State. They're a sleeper for a Cinderella upset for a cupcake schedule because Gonzaga, they won the West Coast Conference for the last and final time because they're going to the Pac-12 next season. That wake up against St. Mary's pretty much handled that against St. Mary's, and now they won these next 2, and that's it. So Gonzaga's going to win. We got better schedule ranks. So Miami, Missouri. I hope Missouri buries bend them over and rape them. I hope Missouri destroys Miami, Florida. Coming from on the side since 2023. Yeah. I hope Missouri beats them. because F Miami on Florida forever in their men's basketball and football. And now, this is an interesting game. Purdue and Queens, New York City. I got Purdue. Purdue is gonna bend them over. Yeah, they won the Big Ten championship against Michigan, and they barely got what they wanted because Indiana is out. Got what Ryan Kennel wanted. So, Michigan and the winner facing UMBC, and just waiting for that. Howard, Kamala Harris's alma mater, Howard. Madam Vice President used to be, but now former Madam Vice President. So I got Michigan. They're going to bend them over. But I won't be surprised if UMBC pulls off the upset if this happens. So St. Louis Billikens against Georgia Bulldogs. I like this matchup. I really do like this matchup. But Georgia's going to have a chance to beat them, but I have St. Louis beating them. If the Billikens need to win, they're going to have a chance to shoot the ball and get the rebounds against Georgia's defense because their offense isn't that good. Yeah, they came to shoot field goals. They came to shoot 3-pointers. Billikens have more numbers than Georgia right now. And then you got Texas Tech taking on Akron. Yeah, Akron barely won by a 3-point shot against Toledo. That game got screwed by the Zebras and the MAC Zebras officiating to stop Toledo's ending the drought and give Akron another one. I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Texas Tech's going to beat them. And then Alabama and Hofstra. Don't sleep on Hofstra. This is their first NCAA tournament. That could have happened 6 years ago. Because 6 years ago, when I was on my way back from the haircut on salon, when I got back from the haircut, well, the coronavirus came, and then the news came out, and that whole thing that the rumors that the tournament is going to get the NCAA tournament and the conference tournaments are going to get canceled until the very next day. It happened after Hofstra won the CAA title, and then that pretty much hurts me. 6 years ago, it does not count, but they stopped Hofstra's ending the drought almost nearly 20 years ago. Instead, it's 25 years. Here we are 6 years later. They're back for the first time for now since 2001, and they are going to face Alabama Crimson Tide. I would love to see Bama and Texas Tech matchup. They won 9 out of 10 games. That's pretty good for Hofstra. But Bama's schedule, they got lost by Ole Miss after beating Auburn. Yeah, on a rivalry game. But Bama's going to win. Bama's going to win. And Tennessee will be facing Miami, Ohio, and SMU. Yes, I talked about Miami, Ohio. Well, yeah, Miami, Ohio is going to beat SMU, by the way. I hope so, but they're going to face the winner of Tennessee game on Wednesday of the first four. And then Tennessee's going to have a chance to shoot the basket. If they're going to have some wake-up calls, they're going to have to wake themselves up because look at their statistics. They got a better field goal percentage for Miami, Ohio. Their numbers look solid. And he got 3-pointers. 3-point percentage, free throws. They got more statistics than Tennessee. I think Tennessee might have an edge to wake themselves up, and if they want to wake themselves up, then be my guess. Be my guess. But they got to take care of SMU first, by the way. Kentucky and Santa Clara game. And I got Santa Clara beating Kentucky. I really, really do. This is our first tournament since 96, 30 years ago, by the way. And you got the game that everybody's expecting. Iowa State and Tennessee State. Iowa State's going to have to get them over the edge whenever they want to shoot the basket. So they're going to have a chance to shoot the basketball. So there's your round 64. And then I got Duke over Ohio State, St. John's over Cal Baptist, Michigan State over Louisville, UConn, my Huskies over UCLA if that happens, then Florida over Iowa, Nebraska over McNeese State, and then Illinois versus North Carolina, Houston over St. Mary's, Iowa State over Santa Clara, and then Tennessee over Wright State, Alabama over Texas Tech, and then Michigan over St. Louis, and then Purdue over Missouri, Gonzaga over BYU. That's a West Coast conference. Wisconsin over Arkansas, and then Arizona over Villanova. On the Sweet 16, I have Duke over St. John's. This is my favorite matchup, and that happens. Duke could beat St. John's against Rick Pitino. Oh, my God. My God, this is a great game. So Duke's going to beat them. And then I got my Huskies being Michigan State. On the bottom side, on the same bracket, Florida over Nebraska and Houston over Illinois. So that could have a rematch from a year ago at San Antonio. I was going to shoot that video to stream it. So Arizona's going to beat Wisconsin. Gonzaga's going to beat Purdue. Michigan's going to be Alabama, and Iowa State's going to be Tennessee. And then I have the Elite Eight. Duke being, Duke. My Huskies being on Duke. That could be the matchup of the Elite Eight. And plus the rematch from 1990. Yeah. 1990 rematch. Ever since over there at East Rutherford, New Jersey. Yeah, the buzzer beater of Duke being Connecticut after Connecticut being Clemson in Sweet 16. Yeah, that payback's coming. Hey, 1999 is what matters. House Force what matters. So, and then you got Houston revenge that game over Florida ever since a year ago in the NCAA title game. That could change a bit because a loss over there in San Antonio, yeah. Houston would have won that game against Florida, but they shot themselves in the foot. They did. So they're going to have to get this one over the edge if they want to get back in the Final Four. So we'll see. And I got Michigan over Iowa State, and I got Arizona over Gonzaga. And my Final Four predictions right there, UConn will beat Houston. And then Arizona's going to be Michigan. And my national championship pick, UConn is going to beat Arizona from a revenge game. Earlier this past season's loss, 71-67 over there at Tucson, Arizona on a Friday night game or something like that. Yeah, that's going to come back to bite them in the ass and shit. It might shit the pants on Arizona. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because we're going to have Terrace Reed and Alex Caravan back on one last time. I got UConn winning the whole thing. So there's my men's bracket, and we got a bunch of time left, and we don't end it till all the way to 2 hours, which is completely okay with that. And I'm going to get to the women's side. I'm going to get to the women's side right now because CBS Sports been very, very vocal on me. I've been very vocal when it comes to NCAA bracket challenge on brackenologists because I just love college basketball. I really can. I really, really do. I mean, this is basketball what I do watch because basketball is my life ever since my childhood. When it comes to NBA, the Spurs, Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Robert Horry, Michael Finley. I mean, Tim Duncan played for Wake Forest. Michael Finley played for Wisconsin, and he got Robert Horry played for Alabama. Yeah, Tari Parker's for France, and Argentina. It's gotta be Manu Ginobili. And I'm gonna go in this one. Naruhina Uzumaki Hyuga from Naruto. I mean, yeah, they have Boruto and Hinawari. And yeah, and by the way, guys, my Funko, I have a protection. I just switched up and that stuff. I just got this is what I ordered for Amazon. I'm gonna zoom in. This is Tsunade. I kind of like this Funko very much. Granny Tsunade. Mm-hmm. The fifth Hokage. I believe her. Yeah, she's the fifth Hokage, and I'm gonna let zoom in right there, and you can see it. It's pretty cool. Maybe I will love have Debbie Mae West to sign my Funko. That'll be cool. That'll be fun. That'll be fun if she signed my thing when it comes to convention. The time will come. The time will come. That can wait. Now I gotta do it quickly before the stream ends. All the way to 2 hours. But so here we go. UConn and UTSA game. Yeah, I had UTSA going to Austin, and I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I jinxed it. I texted on Gaina Valles, and she knew, and it didn't happen. I completely jinxed it. I'm sorry, but UConn's going to kick the shit out of UTSA, coming from a Texas Longhorns fan that I'm wearing. Yeah, I hope we beat the shit out of UTSA, but this is the game that we're expecting to play as we got a chance to win it, and we have a chance to beat them, 99% chance. We have a better net rankings than anybody in this season against UTSA. They're 5-0 in the top 25 and still undefeated. And nobody has been touched. But UTSA barely got out of it from the conference. Used to be Conference USA, America Atlantic Conference. They beat Temple, they beat South Florida, they beat East Carolina, and they beat Rice in the title game after Rice try and make a stop of it, but they lost by 14. They lost by Tulsa, North Texas, Wichita State, and South Florida till the tournament time. Now, it's my thing is AZ Fudd got to get some work done. Sailor Mars, AZ Fudd, Sarah Strong, Sarah Williams, KK Arno. All these UConn players for Gino Auriemma, they're going to give them a show up and play their asses off on and off the court. And they're going to have to do something, knock the crap out UTSA. But shit, dude, it's going to be freaking obvious. Like, my God. Because UTSA, here's my thing. The 16th seed has not beat the 1 seed. And that is Hartford over Stanford. 50-49, 1998 in the first round in Palo Alto, California. And Tennessee won the whole thing. The national championship belonged to Tennessee. Okay? That was the late Pat Summitt. RIP to her, by the way. She is an 8-time national champion. Gino Auriemma is a 12-time national champion. Tara Vanderveer is a 3-time national champion. She's a 3-time national champion, by the way. Kim Mulkey, 4-time national champions. I can name all the coaches. National champions. National champions by any coaches that have won it all in the NCAA tournament, which is Gino Auriemma 12, Pat Summitt 8, Kim Mulkey 4, Tara Vanderveer 3. Unlike Woke-DEI Staley, she has 3. By the way, Woke-DEI Dawn Staley. I'm sorry, but she's not gonna catch Pat Summitt or Gino Auriemma or freaking Kim Mulkey. She's tied with Tara Vanderveer. All right. It ain't gonna happen when it comes to that. That's not gonna work it out. All right, because I know some of the college coaches the whole thing. Can't do that. So Iowa State's going to be Syracuse. Maryland's going to take over Murray State, and then North Carolina's going to be Western Illinois. That's going to be an interesting game. North Dakota, Notre Dame, fudge Notre Dame, coming from Ryan Kendall's mouth. I've been using it all the time from Sports Wars, and I hope Notre Dame gets demolished themselves when it comes to basketball, loyalty, all that crap that is coming down. Yeah. I hope Notre Dame doesn't win another national championship in my goddamn lifetime, because that 2018 was a fluke. It was total bullshit. Ever since 2018, Arike Abuwumike, the buzzer beater, the queen buzzer beater, and yes, she got arrested by punching the police after unrivaled champion, by the way. And I hope Dallas Wings gets her out. But I'll wait. We're still waiting on the CBA, but we can't tell what's going on. I'm sorry, but I despise her when she played at Notre Dame. I'm sorry. I just hate Notre Dame in my life. Screw them. Ohio State at Howard game. Ohio State's going to beat them. And then Colorado-Illinois game. Colorado's going to run all over Illinois, because Deion Sanders coach prime time. Yeah. And then you got Vanderbilt and High Point. Vanderbilt's going to run all over them. And South Carolina will play the winner of that game against Southern University and Stanford University for this week over there at Greenville. That's a thirsty game, by the way, in the first four. But South Carolina's going to destruct them. And then Clemson USC game. USC is going to get demolished by Clemson. I'm sorry. I mean, USC lost Juju Watkins last season. That was barely a year ago, ever since the NCAA tournament in the first two rounds. In the second round against Mississippi State, Juju Watkins had tore ACL, and that pretty much wraps up USC's tournament chances and their Final Four. But I'm sorry, Huskies destroyed them in the Elite Eight. But right now, they won 4 wins and 9 losses against top 25. Clemson has lost only won 1, but lost 5. But they got to get their act together if USC wants to get back when it all starts. But Clemson's going to run all over them, because that could be different. I'll tell you that in just a moment. Michigan State and Colorado State. Michigan State's going to beat Colorado State that much. And then Oklahoma, Aaliyah Chavez out of Lubbock, Texas. Yeah, the traitor ass who doesn't want to join Texas or Texas Tech. She chose the devil itself, the rivalry, the team we hate the most, and that's Oklahoma. OU still sucks. Hashtag OU still effing sucks. I just hate Oklahoma. In my life, I've been hating them in college sports. Football is the most hated piece of it when it comes to Brian. Brian, the boss, he's a good player when it comes to that. Okay. But I just hate Oklahoma. I'm sorry. I hate OU when it comes to Bob Stoops, when it comes to Lincoln Riley or the other coaches. Well, when it comes to that, except Barry Switzer. I wasn't even alive. I know the history that time. And then, yeah, they're going to beat Idaho. Aaliyah Chavez will beat them into pieces, the puzzles. And then South Dakota State's going to beat Washington again for an upset, because I don't think they're going to have a chance to face TCU. But TCU speaking, they're going to face UC San Diego. That could be the biggest one of the day. And then Iowa, yeah. I'm sick of freaking tired of Iowa. Ever since 2020-21 crap began, that is the CC22 bullshit. The media give her attention. That they gave the media attention by this piece of shit Yeah, who's now playing with the Indiana Fever. Yeah, I just hate her. God, I'm. It reminds me of Carmen McDavid from the Oilers, or Tom Brady with the Patriots and the Bucks, or Lionel Messi with the Miami CF. That's what it kind of bars me the most. Okay, it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. And by the way, I forgot to tell you about this. The committee actually got it right with Miami Ohio pick was they selected her way into the tournament. The committee got it right. Suck it, San Diego State University. Suck it. Yes. But back to this one. I got Iowa being for. I mean, the 50C has not beat the 2 seed in their lifetime in the NCAA tournament. Any of that game. And now Georgia is going to face the winner of that game, and that is Virginia and Arizona State. Georgia, they lost to Kentucky in the SEC tournament, and I think they beat they beat Florida in the last game, and they lost to Georgia in Kentucky in the SEC tournament. I mean, that's what it all means. And then you got Vanderbilt and Virginia game. Like, yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, excuse me, that's Georgia's schedule. Excuse me. And then they lost to Clemson for Virginia in the ACC tournament. Just want to point that out. It was a first round exit, so like that. So Georgia's gonna run all over them. UCLA and Cal Baptist. UCLA's gonna run all over them. Oklahoma State and Princeton. Kimberly Woods and Andrew Jordan. Huge news for you. Yeah, you already know I'm gonna say it since the Oscars has passed yesterday in your area. Another one that's coming to your area. You look at it right there. Princeton University is coming to your home area right now in this local area. Well, in that local area of yours in Los Angeles, they're coming to play against anybody when it comes to that in Los Angeles bracket in the Sacramento region too. Yeah. They're going to face Oklahoma State Cowgirls. I don't know what their chances is because Princeton won the Ivy League tournament and they beat Brown. Not Brown. They beat Harvard by double digits. But Oklahoma State lost in the Big 12 tournament to Kansas State. There we go. Yeah, that's not going to be easy. So I will be surprised if Princeton beats Oklahoma. So Kimberly Woods, there's your wish. There's your wishing come true. And then Ole Miss is going to face Georgia. This time I got Ole Miss being Georgia. And then Minnesota, Green Bay. Not the Minnesota Vikings or Green Bay Packers. Can you imagine wearing the Green Bay Packers hat while Minnesota Green Bay are playing? It's the Golden Gophers in the Phoenix. Green Bay Phoenix won the Horizon League title, and Minnesota did not get the job done against Ohio State in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament. So I think Minnesota's going to beat Green Bay. That's my opportunity chances. Oops, my bad. Baylor and Nebraska will be facing the winner of Richmond. Yeah, the Richmond Spiders. I would love to see the Big 12 matchup reunion again. I mean, Baylor and Nebraska. They only lost to Colorado in the tournament, and then Indiana in the tournament. But I gotta say Baylor's gonna win. Then Duke's gonna face Charleston. Yeah, Duke won the ACC tournament. Yeah, and then UConn won the Big East tournament. I forgot to tell you that. Once again. Yeah, the UCLA won the Big East tournament. Speaking, they beat the shit out of Iowa. That was pretty fun on my 29th birthday. And then Villanova is facing Texas Tech in the matchup that everybody's expecting. This I got Villanova beating Texas Tech. That could be my pick of the tournament. They lost. They won 8 out of 10, but lost to UConn twice. By the way, pretty neo, huh? Easy foot. And LSU, Jackson State. LSU's gonna beat them. They're gonna bounce back from the South Carolina loss. And now, guys, Texas and the winner, Missouri State against Stephen F. Austin. Yeah, Stephen F. Austin won the tournament in the Southland Conference, and then Conference USA, Missouri State. Yeah, they're going to the NCAA tournament. By the way, Charleston is going to their first NCAA tournament in history, the only first timer. So Texas and Roy Harmon and Madison Booker and Sarah Graves are going to run the ball and try to shoot it besides holding on to it. They're going to have to pass the ball very quickly in the first 2 rounds if they can expect it is coming to that. They have a better net rank right now in the NCAA tournament. Well, before coming into the NCAA tournament. They lost 3 top 25 games this season, and that is LSU, the most supported game in early January, South Carolina, the next week, by the way, and Vanderbilt a month later. And they only won 14 top 25 games because they're going to have some key momentum on points in the game, and then they have opponents' points per game. And yes, this is the schedule right there, and they took care of some things. Is they're going to have to hold on. They won closely against Tennessee by 2. While the Winter Olympic Games are on, and the Daytona 500, the 68th running in the Great American Race, that was Tyler Reddick started winning the first 3 races. Yeah, in history. And they won closely against Alabama by 7 until a week later. They barely got this one out of the bag. 17 points against Bama. 17 points against Ole Miss. And then 70 points against. This is the first time in SEC and Texas Longhorns women's basketball history. All 3 games have won 17 points against different opponents' teams after the last game against Bama by 7. They won by 17 points. Bama in the quarterfinals, Ole Miss in the semifinals, and then South Carolina in the championship game on my 29th birthday. This is still the best birthday present ever. Now we're 6 wins away, hopefully, to get their second national championship since my mom's graduation of high school back in 1986. Hopefully this time that drought needs to end. And by the way, that was when 94.7 the wave KTWV doesn't exist until a year later in 87 over there in Los Angeles. And that was when Jazz Flavors 94Q. Yeah, 94Q Jazz Flavors. Well, that Saturday, Sunday night shows were good for Kyle Jameson over there in Atlanta. Just to point that out. So Texas got some work done to do with Vic Schaefer, and they're going to have some key momentum, and they want to handle the ball. So they're going to get some work ready. It's almost 6 p.m. And then we could get ready for that. And then Oregon's going to face Virginia Tech. I got Oregon beating Virginia Tech. Kentucky and James Madison. Kentucky. West Virginia against Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio won the MAC tournament championship. I got West Virginia. Bama and Rhode Island. Bama. Louisville and Vermont. Louisville. NC State, Tennessee. NC State. And then Michigan facing Holy Cross. Michigan's going to beat them. And my picks right now that I have is right there. I have UConn beat Iowa State, North Carolina beating Maryland, and then Ohio State beat Notre Dame. Excuse me. There we go. Notre Dame. Well, Ohio State beating Notre Dame for good, and then Vanderbilt beating Colorado for that. And that's going to be a fist fight for that. So, and plus Ohio State beating Notre Dame, like the college football playoff national championship game, that could come down to that. And then you got a rivalry in the South Carolina in state. I am going to go with South Carolina over Clemson. I mean, I don't think Clemson's going to pull off the upset. Oklahoma will beat Michigan State easily. So I'm just watching Beverly Hills Cowboy before I get to where WBC coming up. Just a moment. I'm about to get ready for World Baseball Classic coming up, and just momentarily, I'm gonna get ready to stop watching it and turn it over to that. So, TCU is gonna beat South Dakota State. I got TCU. That's gonna be a blowout. That's gonna be a blowout. And then Iowa's gonna run all over Georgia. No question about it. On the other side, Oklahoma's going to beat, UCLA's going to beat Oklahoma State. Ole Miss is going to take down Minnesota, by the way. Duke's going to beat Baylor. And then LSU is going to take down Villanova. Because Villanova's got to try to get some work done. But I don't think they will beat to catch LSU. Now in Austin, Texas will beat Oregon. Kind of like deja vu in the Alamo Bowl or the 2002 men's basketball all over again. Yeah, that could happen. Sorry, Henry Reinhardt. I know you don't watch women's basketball, but for some point you care about the men's and women's. But without Sabrina Ionescu, Texas will beat them easily, for sure. And plus that rematch from 2019, that's gonna come from over there at Eugene, Oregon. Yeah. And that was before pre-Vic Schichter ever comes to arrive. And then West Virginia is going to beat Kentucky. Louisville will beat Bama, and then Michigan's going to beat NC State for sure. Screw NC State in the women's basketball. Coming from Texas. Now the Sweet 16. UConn's going to beat North Carolina Tar Heels, and then Vanderbilt's going to beat Ohio State, by the way. For sure. I would love to see that happening. And South Carolina's going to be OU for sure, because even though I hate both these goddamn teams that could kiss my ass, I just hate these mother effing teams. I really do. But South Carolina's going to kick the shit out of OU. OU still sucks. I usually say when it comes to in the state of Texas, yeah. In the great state of Texas right here, yeah, OU still sucks. TCU is going to beat Iowa because F Iowa coming from Texas and UConn right there. I would love to see TCU destroy UConn so badly. TCU beating Iowa so badly. Excuse me. We'll get to the Final Four. UCLA is going to be Ole Miss, and then LSU is going to run all over Duke. Possibly Carl Lawson. And my Texas Longhorns will beat West Virginia like it's 2006 in Atlanta regional bracket all over again. the Paulino bracket, the Paulino buzzer beater heard from around the world. When West Virginia tied the game, and guess what? Texas won the game on 3-point buzzer. The same night, LSU beat Duke, by the way. I remember that. And then UCLA beat Gonzaga. Memphis beat Bradley. We all remember that in 2006. That was an open bracket. But yeah, Texas will do it again. Michigan's going to beat Louisville. I have my doubts that Louisville might beat Michigan, but it's Michigan. And the Elite Eight, UConn's going to beat Vanderbilt by close, and then UCLA is going to beat LSU by closely. Deja vu all over. Guys, 2 years ago, LSU beat UCLA in the Sweet 16. Until the next game, they lost to Iowa in the Elite Eight. That was Reese Clark, the Magic of Bird 2.0 rematch. I like to call it. I still call it the Reese the Clark Reese 2.0 into the Bird Magic 2.0. It's kind of like a rivalry of women's basketball into men's basketball again. Just want to point that out. And Texas and Michigan, we saw Texas beating Michigan in the 2025-26 season in the Citrus Bowl, in the Cheez and Citrus Bowl, 2025 Cheez and Citrus Bowl. Texas won, but Arch Manning. That game was pretty good against Rhodes Rance, Michigan. Sorry, Rhodes. Hook 'em horns. Because I know you're from East Texas. I'm from the Southwest Texas. We're both from Texas. John Matrix is from Texas. From South Texas over there, which is Houston. But hey, what it means. Win as a team, you lose as a team. I'm from the Texas. I'm from the state of Texas too. So they're stacked. So Texas might be Michigan again, like it's the Rose Bowl, 2005. Anything can happen. 2004-05 season. And now the final four picks in mind. So UConn is going to beat the shit out of South Carolina again, and Don Staley's going to be bitching, crying, whining, moaning like a little 12-year-old the P word ass bitch herself. She's like a freaking 12-year-old son of a bitch. Temper tantrum last year. What was the final score last year? Because I forgot to talk about that. The 2025 NCAA Women's Championship basketball tournament. I mean, this is last year. I'm gonna go to the bracket before I. This was 82-59. Look at this, 82-59. Oh my god! Ain't that a ain't that a bitch? That's pretty good. Oh my god, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess South Carolina beat us out. We were in the haircut salon. I mean, I was watching it the Birch Harasi show, and the show got canceled. But when I got back home, UConn beat UCLA. That made me feel a little bit better. Yeah, after UConn beat USC a little closely. But oh my god, look at the final score. Look at the final score. Who was the better game of the tournament? AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong. While Paige Becker's on the team and Caitlin Chen. Caitlin Chen's with the Golden State Valkyries. Paige Becker's is with Dallas Wings. You got Ice Brady. She hasn't scored, but only played 13 minutes. But oh my god. South Carolina, Dick Ryers don't want to talk about it. Because Tahina Pau scored 3. Ouch. That's pretty hilarious. Because Ray Johnson scored 2. Oh my god, it's hilarious. That shit's funny to me, right? Oh my, that's pretty good. I mean, they got better field goal percentage. Oh, this is last year. Free throws. I was gonna make a video about it, but I didn't have time for it. And I was celebrating like I wanted to win the whole thing, a whole damn thing. Good God. So UConn's gonna beat him again. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen again. Because look at the numbers. Oh my God. Look at the numbers. Jesus. Yeah, they have a better net. Can you imagine if UConn runs it all the way against South Carolina? Yeah. F around, find out. And yeah, that nightmare is coming to you, Don Staley. She's gonna be whining and crying like a bitch. I'm sorry. She is a crazy ass piece of shit who's part of Woke-DEI head coach of women's basketball. I cannot wait till NCAA finds this one out on South Carolina. It needs to happen. And Texas against UCLA. That national championship could have been last year. Yeah, because this is the same thing, the same reason, the same bracket last year. UConn beat UCLA, and then South Carolina beat my Texas Longhorns. But they got a better net rank. UCLA's got a better net rank than us right now. But they only lost to this team. This team right there. Right there. Right there. The Texas Longhorns. In the Players Era crap. Nobody cares about the Players Era. Nobody cares. Texas is going to beat them again. And the national championship, my picks, may the best team win. This is my dream national championship matchup. In my lifetime, I have Texas beating UConn. But did they throw them maybe to stop AZ Fuzz? They're strong. I don't know. But I would love to see Rory Harmon and Madison Booker to close out the chapter, and Rory Harmon to close that national championship book in her senior year graduation. She's ready to graduate because Vic Shaver knows this is going to be her last of the tournament. And I have Texas winning the whole thing. So there's that. So there's my bracket, guys, both men's and women's for 2026 NCAA Division I men's and women's basketball championship tournament. Man, it is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty fun. Whoops. I just can't even describe. This is my best time to watch the college basketball games for some point. And what not scares me a little bit is Division I men's and women's basketball championship tournament off the brackets, picks, and predictions. Again, I have the men's UConn beating Arizona, and the women's Texas being UConn. So that could have a fairy tale for my eye when it comes to basketball. Well, hope you guys are ready to enjoy it. Fill out your brackets as much as you can. There's Sports Illustrated. And oh yeah, guys. Before we get out of here, I want to make sure you guys can follow me there. There's a website called The Season. I wanted to show you before we go. Before we wrap this one up right now. there's a website called The Season, and this is the sports picks. You could sign up, and there is the free games that you want to play, the free poll games. Besides buying something, which you gotta do. I mean, now you could buy whatever you want to buy, so that's fine. And there's the Daily Survivor. I have my picks. I got Michigan. You guys could do the picks. What you want to pick is the Daily Survivors, and there's the picking rules. Before we go, it says for 10 days in the first round, in the second round, all the way to the national championship game. It says you must pick one team per day. Pick locks with each day's first game tips off. Pick teams to win. You can pick. You can pick team. You can each pick each team only once the entire tourney. Due to the tight turnarounds, we'll likely open for the next day before the current day, finish in order, and maximize time available to pick. If you make a pick for the next day, your currently day pick loses, you will be eliminated, and your next day will be next day pick will be deleted. So that pretty much works it out, because I wanted to know is who I have winning the whole thing in the national championship. And guys, I got Michigan playing into my seat, because Duke's gonna put this one into the table. So there's my answer, and I got Michigan into my picks. There's some polls, and I'm gonna put this out of the way. Before we go, there is some polls, and there's some live picks. There's my active polls for you to play for free, and there's some free picks, free games that you want to play. There's MLB Survivor, World Cup group stage, the knockout stage, NFL draft props, NHL, MLB, and NBA playoffs. That won't wait till October, but this is gonna come next month. We're about to get ready for those picks, and that's how you play daily games. You win prizes with money. And there's Will from Game On. He's been loving this game so many times, because this is my first time playing this game, and I might have a chance to join that. You can follow me there at The Season and Will for Game On. And there's some squads. You guys could go check it out, but yeah. And there's the Game On show. And there's crickets right there. There's crickets. Oh, you cricket. I mean, his test evolves got some work to do. So there you go. Got you there, cricket. Got you there, cricket. And so what do you guys think of this? We're about to get ready for tournament time, and this is going to make me feel great. So thank you guys for joining us for the March Madness bracket predictions and picks. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notifications on. And yeah, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, because YouTube likes to unsubscribe people, and I don't know what else to tell you. So we'll be ready for tomorrow through the national championship game, both men's and women's. Tomorrow, Wednesday, by the way. So let the games begin. That's all I got to say. Peace. I'm out. We'll see you guys the next time.